I got a new client just sitting there
Working.
So you can't go wrong with that. I don't think that happened to me once at my other employers. So.
Just sitting in the office, a new guy comes.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna hire
I think
somebody.
that would be a bad thing if that happened. What about you?
Similar experiences, a little different though. Working in the office, especially as a young developer, I learned a ton. You know, I had a great mentor of teaching me why I should use certain like design patterns, is what they call them in the programming world for common solutions. So teaching me design patterns and how...
It still makes no sense to me. Go ahead.
We'll talk about that another time. Common solutions to problems.
Okay.
So if it happens over and over again, always code it this way.
You have a go-to.
You have a go-to, but they call them design patterns.
Oh.
And just making sure like it's not design as in design. But so like teaching me those, fantastic mentorship, and like you said, just really getting that camaraderie of having other people to work with is fantastic. But on the contracting side, you know, waking up, rolling out of bed and being at work in 35 seconds is fantastic.
Every once in a while there's traffic going downstairs for me. How about you?
I don't have a dog. I don't, you know,
it's my
like
dog.
that. So so that's not too bad. One of the hard parts for me was contracting the way at least the contracts I've had, is they still wanted to have like 24/7 kind of access.
Yeah.
And so may have to work late someday, or you know they expect people to be in the office from 9 to 3. So
the working hours.
The working hours. So you know I would be on Google Talk then, or Skype or whatever, just so we could talk. You know, and I would be working, and we could do screen sharing and stuff like that if we needed to coordinate any kind of actions and stuff, or I needed people to do code reviews. So a little less flexibility there. It's kind of hard to, because we were literally on the phone like every other hour or once an hour.
Less flexibility of freelance?
Well, than freelance for designers, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I work best, you know, we all get into the zone, and we could talk about the zone at a lot of time, but like just being
We're going to
talk about a lot of things. Being super focused, you know, and not having distractions in meetings.
Yeah.
That's a big thing is meetings distract from getting back into the context of what my code is doing and troubleshooting and programming new things. But then also having that constant communication with the team from a distance.
Yeah.
So because of that, you know, it was better than being in the office as far as distractions are concerned.
Yep.
Throw the headphones on and work, but then still, for what my contracts I've had have still been, hey, we have to get on the phone and call the client and talk for 30 minutes and then get back to coding and remember what I was doing. So similar experiences, but most of the time I'd end up working from home instead of working from a coffee shop or someplace that I'd rather be working.
That makes sense. Do you think, on the same topic kind of, do you think the company gets more out of a freelancer / contractor than a person working in the office?
That's a really interesting question. I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
It really, really depends on the person. I'm really self-motivated and driven. As long as the expectations are set extremely clear and I have good lines of communication with management or whoever's in charge of the project, and they can, you know, let the reins free and say, hey, work on this area, work on these defects, or work on this new code, and then they just let me go and do it.
Yeah.
I can work with that, and I can be extremely productive as a freelancer contractor.
Yeah.
Likewise, I could do the same thing in the office. I think for new developers and maybe new designers too, especially getting, like I said, that mentorship really early on, and learning huge. The way of the world and learning how things work is extremely important. Yes, you can jump out there as an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old or whatever, and get right into it and probably be really successful. But it just goes back to your background as an individual.
Yep.
What do you think?
No, I agree. I think depending on the person is a huge point to make. I think for me personally, I get a lot more done when I'm doing freelance. Yeah. Like the farther away from working in an office, I feel like there's working in an office for a company full time, then there's contract with a little bit more leeway, and then freelance is like the biggest leeway. But like you were saying, there has to be more communication and more expectations set, the more leeway there is.
Oh yeah, true.
And so as long as those are set for me, I think I get the most work done doing freelance. Usually the projects are I'm more passionate about too.
Yeah.
Because it's not little nitpicky stuff, it's like website development, you know, like
the
whole thing, a whole package. So
have you ever thought about doing consulting?
I don't really know what consulting is. Do you?
So from what I understand, it basically means somebody comes in, takes a crap on everything, and then says it good, gets paid a lot of money, and walks away.
That sounds great. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do consultants.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've only known a few consultants, and I mean, it's definitely hit or miss.
Yeah,
it seems like it's when a company's in trouble or a product's in trouble, and they think that they can bring on somebody to fix everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out that way, though.
Yeah, it sounds great from some aspects, but others it sounds like you're walking into a mess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, I think it's for the consulting gigs. I think are for super experienced people that have seen it all 2 or 3 times and can go into a position, at least a good consultant, the ones that are actually helpful, go in there and actually be helpful because they've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Get in, get out within like 2 months and everything's fixed.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
One more question as far as contracting versus jobs. Let's talk about like benefits and stuff. On the other side is the individual, other than the workload and creativity and that kind of aspect. What did you or don't you like about contracting versus having a job?
Yeah, the benefits were definitely a huge benefit. Being full-time, it's more expensive for anyone to go by themselves and go get benefits. Luckily, my wife works, so I do benefits through her.
Same here.
But yeah,
wife power.
Yep. Sugar mamas. That's what our blog should be called.
That's what it should be called.
Sugar mamas. We're sitting in our
slippers.
You can tell that we're...
Anyway, you're saying.
Okay, so... but the little things that I didn't think about are like 401ks.
Oh yeah.
I had to set mine up myself, and then I have to pay for like trading, which I didn't know you had to. Little stuff like that you don't really think about are huge benefits for...
Yeah, benefits are huge. It's crazy to think about taxes and all the things that...
That's huge too, because I'm going to end up paying 7% more on taxes.
Oh yeah.
Because the employer actually pays 7% of your federal income tax.
Dang.
Which I did not know until...
You started contracting and freelancing?
Yeah.
I've only had one full year where the only thing I did was contracts.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have a job at all. And I didn't send quarterly taxes into the IRS. And let me tell you, I paid so much. That was the only year my wife and I ever had to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And we had to pay a ton of money.
Yeah, because there's all those fees too.
Yeah. So I made that mistake, and I won't make that one again.
Yeah. It's a good one to only make once.
So, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about today, or you want to wrap it up? And
I think we're good.
Sweet. Thank you, Ben. It's good to talk to you again.
Great meeting with you.
Yeah. Sweet.